Invocation. Let Me Disappear, a poem by Ray Gonzalez. According to scientists, astronauts get taller when they are in space, and in Albania, nodding your head means no, and shaking your head means yes. This says, I am going to disappear and become a parrot, sitting on my perch in some strange woman's living room, ready to imitate everything she has to say to her illicit lover over the phone. Maybe I won't have to speak in the shrill voice of parrots, but simply nod and shake my head, getting it right, unlike the Albanians. St. Paul, Minnesota was originally called Pig's Eye, after a man named Pierre Pig's Eye Parent, who set up the first business there in the mid-19th century. Well, let me disappear because I live about 12 miles south of St. Paul's northern city limits and have seen the eyes of pigs quite often. Minnesota is full of them. The last one I saw was tailgating me and almost ran me off the road. Before I could switch lanes, he swerved around me and shot away. About 4 blocks later, he was pulled over by a cop and given a ticket. Astronaut Buzz Aldrin's mother's maiden name was Moon. That sentence is hard to say. Of course, Buzz was the second man to step onto the moon in 1969. The first was Neil Armstrong, but he had no moons in his family. So he pleaded to Buzz on his knees, please, let me go second. Let me go second and every moon lover will love you forever instead of me. This happened inside the capsule on its way down to the moon. Buzz thought, let me disappear. But it was too late. They hit the surface and history was on its way. I don't have a clue what this has to do with me because the only moon in my life rose over the desert skies for the first 25 years of my life until I disappeared. It is why I insist on a dark, moonless night when it is the best time for all men to go away, inspect their dreams, and maybe come back taller, wiser, and able to know the difference between yes and no. Chalice Lighting. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. Daniel Ladinsky. Sermon. Milan Kundera, in The Unbearable Lightness of Being, says that vertigo is not the fear of falling off a building, but of jumping off. That's the only way I can account for my complete lack of fear as I jumped out of an airplane at 13,500 feet on a sunny day in May. I was meant to jump. I was strapped to a fetching young instructor named Doug, and Doug was wearing a parachute. Sometimes, admittedly, I am a wall clinger. I feel a bit woozy when looking down on the Empire State from its eponymous skyscraper's observation deck. It's not that I worry about the structure's integrity. It's not anxiety that I might be pushed. It's my imagination. It's the fear that the line between my imagination and action might be fuzzier than I think. I look down from the Eiffel Tower and I psychically tumble. I see Parliament from the London Eye, and I fly. But I also see myself belting out Everything's Coming Up Roses in the middle of a funeral. I wonder sometimes, at the sight of a gun-toting police officer, if I could get to her pistol before she could. Who's to say that one time the fantasist side of my brain might not grab the controls for long enough for me to permanently alter my, yes, untraditional, but mostly legal, mostly appropriate, and mostly gravitationally constrained life. My brother went to skydiving school in Spain, where you are not required to do your first jumps in tandem with an expert. On his 6th solo jump, his chute was irreparably tangled. Even in crisis, he tried everything he could to mend the pretzeled cords before pulling his reserve chute. Losing face to him was as deadly figuratively as it was literally. He pulled his reserve at a menacingly low altitude. So for the love of gravity and family irreverence, my brother and I jumped out of a plane together on Mother's Day. As we ascended from New Jersey, the skyline of Philadelphia became visible, and the distance from the ground made it more picturesque, and I began to worry of my persistently sanguine temper. Was my dearth of fear going to manifest itself in the last minute in a total meltdown, or was I really not afraid at all? One by one, I watched ashen faces disappear into the ether until it was my turn. I brought my goggles down over my eyes and let Doug fasten me to him. We stood half in and half out of the plane. The world was below us and unfettered by glass or screen. I crossed my arms over my chest like Ophelia and swung out and then in, and then on that third out, I jumped. That moment of letting go, of loosening one's moorings with intention, of giving it up to the wind and the air and the sky. That moment was as close as I had ever become to feeling perfect. I bore the unbearable lightness, and I fell. For 60 seconds I fell. It was loud, and it was cold, and it was awesome. During freefall, the videographer took my hand and spun us around, and I began to conceive of all the possibilities of dancing in the air. I tried to smile as the wind filled my cheeks and dried out my teeth. I tried to remember to check my altimeter every 5 seconds without being reminded. When its needle pointed to 5,000 feet, I pulled the cord myself. The instant change from cold to warmth and from noise to silence is remarkable. Beautiful, calming sun, airy silence as I floated. Friends were subjected to multiple viewings of the video. As Doug steers me to the ground, the video zooms in on my face, and I am asked what I thought of the jump. It was sublime, I said. My friends teased me for pretension and accused me of a premeditated vocabulary. But I assure you, it was said spontaneously and in earnest. The word had remained dormant in my brain since college, when in the history of Western music, I'd heard the story of a disagreeable pundit and contemporary of Beethoven's, who was noted to have involuntarily blurted out the same expletive upon hearing Beethoven's Eroica. Sublime, not to be excelled, supreme, inspiring awe, raised aloft, set high, the ultimate example of something. I have often tried to squelch the bad metaphor of the feeling I get when I am in a plane and it flies above the clouds where there is always sunshine and there are stars. It feels like a great leveling, an impossible perspective in the troposphere. Jump out of a plane someday. Once you do, you'll be forever tempted to trade in the office for the hangar and the car for a shoot. Also, you might meet somebody nice. Jump sites are rife with adorable people who jump out of planes. I highly recommend you get one strapped to your back. Echo, a character in Lee Blessing's Eleemosynary, ruminates, "The secret of flight lies in the assurance that we are worthy of flying." No secret now. You are worthy. What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all around the sun. What a beautiful dream that could flash on the screen in a blink of an eye and be gone from me. Soft and sweet, let me hold it close and keep it here with me. And one day we will die and our ashes will fly from the aeroplane over the sea. But for now we are young, let us lay in the sun, count every beautiful thing we can see. Love to be in the arms of all and keeping here with me. What a curious life we have found here tonight. There is music that sounds from the street. There are lights in the clouds and there's ghosts all around. Hear a voice as it's rolling and ringing through me. Soft and sweet, how the notes all bend and reach above the trees. Now how I remember you, how I would push my fingers through your mouth to make those muscles move and make your voice so smooth and sweet. But now we keep where we don't know. All secrets sleep in winter clothes with one you loved so long ago. Now we don't even know his name. What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all around the sun. And when we meet on a cloud, I'll be laughing out loud. I'll be laughing with everyone I see. Can't believe how strange it is to be anything at all. Meditation. I have lots of things to teach you now, in case we ever meet, concerning the message that was transmitted to me under a pine tree in North Carolina on a cold winter moonlit night. It said that nothing ever happened, So don't worry. It's all like a dream. Everything is ecstasy inside. We just don't know it because our thinking minds. But in our true blissful essence of mind is known that everything is all right forever and forever and forever. Close your eyes. Let your hands and nerve ends drop. Stop breathing for 3 seconds. Listen to the silence inside the illusion of the world, and you will remember the lesson you forgot, which was taught in immense Milky Way soft cloud, innumerable worlds long ago, and not even at all. It is all one vast awakened thing. I call it the golden eternity. It is perfect. We were never really born. We will never really die. It has nothing to do with the imaginary idea of a personal self, other selves, many selves everywhere. Self is only an idea, a mortal idea. That which passes into everything is one thing. It's a dream already ended. There's nothing to be afraid of and nothing to be glad about. I know this from staring at mountains months on end. They never show any expression. They are like empty space. Do you think the emptiness of space will ever crumble away? Mountains will crumble, but the emptiness of space, which is the one universal essence of mind, the vast awakenhood, empty and awake, will never crumble away because it was never born. Jack Kerouac.
My heart's in the ice house, come hill or come valley, like a long ago Sunday when I walked through the alley on a cold winter's morning to a church house just to shovel some snow. I heard sirens on the train track, how naked yet new. An altar boy has been hit by a local commuter just from walking with his back turned to the train. It was coming so slow. You can gaze at the moon, get mad and get madder, throw your hands in the air, say what does it matter, but it don't do no good to get angry, so help me I know. For a heart stained in anger grows weak and grows bitter, you become your own prisoner as you watch yourself sit there wrapped up in the trap of your very own chain of sorrow. I've been brought down to zero, pulled out and put back there. I sat on the park bench, kissed the girl with the black hair as my head shouted down to my heart, you better look out below. It ain't such a long ride, don't stammer, don't stutter, from the diamonds in the sidewalk to the dirt in the gutter, and you carry those bruises to remind you wherever you go. You can gaze at the moon, get mad and get madder, throw your hands in the air, say what does it matter, but it don't do no good to get angry, so help me I know. For a heart stained in anger grows weak and grows bitter, you become your own prisoner as you watch yourself sit there wrapped up in a trap of your very own chain in the ice house, come hill or come valley, like a long ago Sunday when I walked through the alley on a cold winter's morning to a church house just to shovel some snow.
Prayer. An excerpt from Death is a Matter of Mathematics by Barry Amiel. Death is a matter of mathematics. It screeches down at you from dirty white nothingness, and your life is a question of velocity and altitude, with allowances for wind and the quick, relentless pull of gravity. Or else it is concealed in that fleecy, peaceful puff of a cloud ahead, a streamlined, muttering vulture waiting to swoop upon you with a rush of steel. And then your chances vary as the curves of your parabolas, your banks, your dives, the scientific soundness of your choice of what to push or pull, and how and when. Hymn. Not in vain the distance beacons. Alfred, Lord Tennyson, and Beethoven.
Not in vain the distance beacons. Forward, forward, let us range. Let the great world spin forever down the ringing grooves of change. Through the shadow of the globe we sweep ahead to heights sublime. We the heirs of all the ages in the foremost files of time. Oh, we see the crescent promise of that spirit has not set. Ancient founts of inspiration well through all our fancies yet, and we doubt not through the ages one increasing purpose runs, and the thoughts of all are widened with the process of the suns. Yea, we dip into the future, far as human eye can see the vision of the world and all the wonder that shall be. Hear the war drum throb no longer, see the battle flags all furled in the Parliament of Freedom, Federation of the world.
Go in peace.